What is up, guys? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling by the Straight Edge Wrestling podcast. This has been a week which, in some regards, people want to forget about wrestling, but it's been good in other ways. Before we get into the review of the week and the news and all that, please like and subscribe to us here on this channel on YouTube. Head over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. And we'll be following along with Clash of Champions tonight and all the other shows as and when they happen and breaking news as and when it comes up. So this week as a whole, what do you think?
It started a bit slow, didn't it?
Slow is a word for it. Slow is a word for it.
Good thing that came out on Monday night was Raw Underground.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think even that could save the train wreck that was Monday Night Raw this week. I think there was a few diamonds in the rough on Raw, but it was mainly just poor. Let's just start off with
what you went up for R-Truth and Little Jimmy at the beach.
I hated every second of it. Every second of it. Start off with Raw. So Retribution is stood in the ring. They've signed contracts with WWE, so they can do whatever they want. But they already were.
Well, yeah, I think they should have just worded it a bit. If they were going to say it, word it that at least we can get paid to just mess you up.
Yeah. Well, they've tried to clarify this on Twitter over the last about 48 hours, 72 hours, and they've just kind of made it worse and worse and worse. They've
been saying on Twitter.
They've been tweeting out about they're basically doubling down on that. Well, now we can do whatever we want. It's basically just doubling down on that. I'll pull up the actual tweet from T-Bar from Retribution, which WWE's official Twitter account has sort of has retweeted and said, "Yeah, no, this is a thing."
Where T-Bar is having a Twitter war with Chris Jericho,
which is so funny. Yes, WWE is paying us to destroy their company because we were successfully destroying it regardless. They think if we are under contract, then they can contain/manage our chaos, but they will be unsuccessful. Stop overthinking everything. WWE offered us contracts because it was financially cheaper than all of the security guards we kept injuring. We signed the contracts to pay for our hired guns to do our dirty work.
Security guards they kept injuring. Pierce kept getting fucking security guards and never did anything. He even put a Twitter war thing about it. He kept doing it was a comedy thing for fucking Raw for 2 weeks.
So stupid. And then it just got worse when they gave them all new names. So we had we know it's Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Dio Madden, and Dijakovic that are behind the masks, and they gave them names like T-Bar and Slapjack. You know, they sound like they're from a Greaser film in the 1960s.
I'm more confused because why they're all wearing dodgy masks and things. Is this because they think they can still hide their face and then change who they are?
Honestly, it's just so
the women. It was straight obvious when they had half a mask. It
was straight obvious with Dijakovic. I think I've been saying Dijakovic for 8 weeks now to you. I've been saying it's clearly him. He's the big dude. It's very clearly him. Dio Madden's a weird one. Dio Madden's a weird one in the sense of he's already been on the main roster, right?
Yeah.
So I get that the other ones haven't really, but they have been on NXT TV, which should mean something. But Dio Madden was literally on the commentary booth, and he saved Jerry Lawler all those months ago. So people have seen him before. I don't know. It was not good. And then to add into it, they keep on doing that. Whenever the Retribution's around, they do the camera work and the shaky cam and all this zoom in and all that. It just makes it a joke. I don't know. And then we led from there into Angel Garza and Andrade taking on Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins and Dominic and Humberto. I'll say this. I like the teaming of Dominic and Humberto. I thought that was quite a cool little team.
They do something well better.
Yeah, they do because he's very, very good. So I'm glad because Dominic can learn from him, and him being in a tag team probably protects Dominic quite a bit. But the one thing I didn't need to see, which I think I've said on this show about 18 times already, I don't need to see Angel Garza and Andrade versus the damn Street Profits anymore.
Yeah, but you knew that was going to happen because you knew they still weren't done with Seth and bloody the Mysterio family,
No,
which comes
and
again in a little while.
yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so, we've seen it, we've done it a million times at this point, and I don't know, it was a good match for what it was, but yeah, I don't know. And then we had Dabba Kato made his debut on the main roster.
Yeah.
It didn't go all too well for him. I mean, I thought they were going to have him as like a thing, because they spent weeks on Raw Underground trying to build him up, and then, oh no, they're going to have Braun just kill him.
Well, I won't go let Braun lose, will they, at the moment? He just lost.
No, I know. I just found it weird that they even brought him up to face Braun. Why do that? If I'm assuming he's done now, right? Like, I'm assuming that's Dabba Kato over with and moving on from that, because
I think Double K is still going to be the one that kind of runs Underground.
Well, then it just sort of, we just told him that he's the strong one in Underground, but he comes up to the main roster and he gets made to look like a bitch. So, well, Underground don't matter.
I thought they already made that clear anyway about them been doing stuff.
Yeah,
even though it's probably the best stuff that was going on this week on online overall. So
yeah, but I mean, that was a very low bar to hit. We had the 24/7 stuff. I don't even know. Akira Tozawa was
little Jimmy back. I haven't seen little Jimmy in ages.
God damn it! I hated every second. I love R-Truth. I hated every second of this. This was the moment I turned off when I was watching live, and I went back and watched it again. Well, not this bit. I didn't watch this bit again. Watched the rest of the show, just because anyone that criticizes, Russo, WCW, or basically any other booker ever, needs to look long and hard in the mirror, because this is bad. This is bad. He was killed by a shark. God damn it. Oh, I can't express how much I hated Raw this week.
It may have not been. It could have been his ninja that got killed by a shark. We just don't know at the moment.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting. I'm hanging on the bit to figure out who it was that was killed by the shark. That's what's going to make me tune in again next week.
Fuck. I'm wondering if the 24/7 title is going to be on the line at Clash of Champions.
Clash of Champions, yeah.
When every title was supposed to be on the line.
Yeah. We had some more Hurt Business. I think Hurt Business are doing some really good stuff. I really think they're like a highlight.
Good things through bits.
Yeah, I mean, even they make a lot of chicken salad out of chicken shit quite a lot of the time. They've been doing really good stuff, and like since Cedric's been with them and all that, I really quite like what they're doing, but there's nothing really much for them on the show at the moment. That's the only problem, because I'd really love them to be something quite, major and mean something. It's a shame.
Well, it could be, but what they need is some more title things being thrown their way.
Yeah. I mean, someone tweeted out a picture. I can't remember who it was. They tweeted out a picture, sort of, the Hurt Business is like the modern take on the Nation of Domination kind of thing. That's sort of where they're going with it. But what was the difference was that the Nation of Domination all had belts. At one point when they were on the rise, The Rock had the IC belt, they had the tag team belts, all this, and Hurt Business just sort of don't have anything. But as you say, Raw Underground did. It was fine. Yeah, I didn't mind it. It's weird to me.
I love their first match they had on there, because Dolph and I can't remember the guy, the other one who can actually probably do all the MMA stuff properly.
Arturo Ruiz. I couldn't remember his name. I've got it written down.
That was just a phenomenal fight, I think, which how for me Lucha Underground should look a bit more like.
Yeah, Raw Underground.
Yeah, Raw Underground.
Yeah, not that they were trying to copy Lucha Underground at all. Cough, cough. No, I think you're right. Yeah, it's weird to me that Dolph Ziggler's sort of been positioned in Raw Underground. He's a weird one for this, but he's doing good.
That's because his tag team partner's still in Canada.
Yeah, that's true. And then we had Seth Rollins and Ray, and all this is continuing again. And Seth Rollins said he has the DNA results of who Dominic's father is. Ray's not the father. I just don't get this. I don't get this at all.
What's inside learning to be more to do with the daughter now.
Yeah, and then it's Alia Mysterio. Jesus Christ, we've done this, right? We did this 15 years ago with Eddie Guerrero, who, nothing against Seth Rollins, he's a bit better. We've done this story.
Well, at least he was stating who the father was, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, exactly. I'm your puppy. Yeah. God, I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think they were going to go this way with this story at all.
I don't know why we're still doing this story at all.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't understand why it's not done.
It should be over with by now. Mysterio. Yeah. How much has the Mysterio family got to lose right now for it to be done with?
So what I understand is, what are we going to get? Alia Mysterio versus Seth at the next another pay-per-view? Like, I don't understand where we're going with this.
I know. We're waiting for Becky Lynch to give birth, so then she comes back and fights her, don't you?
Yeah. This is a long build over the next 18 years until Becky's daughter can come and fight. Becky and Seth's daughter, if they have a daughter, comes and fights her.
I don't think WWE plans that far ahead.
No, WWE doesn't plan. WWE doesn't plan the end of the show when it starts, let alone 18 years. Yeah, there was a lot of other stuff with Retribution and the Hurt Business and stuff throughout Raw, but it was kind of just whatever. It doesn't really matter. Did you watch NXT?
Yeah. Well, I had to watch the second half twice because I fell asleep. I'll be honest there. It's not because of the show's bad. It was because I just was knackered.
Yeah, just watching an awful lot of wrestling. I think it was okay. I think it was a good show. In ring wide.
Yeah. I love the fact that you got your two number one contenders.
Yeah,
I think they're both two good picks as well.
Yeah, I think they're now setting up. They're in that stage where, like, they know Takeover's coming, so they've got to build for Takeover, but then they've also got to build for after Takeover as well. So they're in that weird sort of stage at the moment.
Well, I think what I like though with Rhea Ripley at the moment, they're trying to keep her away from the title at the moment.
Yeah,
and trying to give her with the big people, because at the moment, after they've now taken Mercedes away, because Mercedes was supposed to be in that match, she was advertised a week or two ago in it.
Yep. Yeah, and then Vince decides to pull her. But so yeah, now we got Candice LeRae taking on Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship, and Kyle O'Reilly, right, against Finn. That's a unique match. That's a cool little match.
That was a great main event. I loved it.
Oh, it was a very good main event.
Kyle O'Reilly is just freaking awesome, and I love the fact that he finally got given his chance.
That's what I mean. Like,
they haven't really done, apart from when they had the tag team championship thing, when they were leading into the NXT thing over for Adam Cole.
Yeah,
hasn't done anything.
No, I agree. And like he's always been like, I don't want to say a standout, but you know what I mean. In that, like, whenever he's in the ring with Undisputed Era, he does draw a lot of attention because he's so ridiculous. He's so good.
He's probably one of the best wrestlers out of the four of them.
He probably is. Yeah. So,
but he's also done quite well for himself through these last few weeks, because they just use him for certain skits where it's him against someone like. Who was it last week? I can't remember who it was that attacked somebody outside, but they'd lost, so they jumped them out in the car park. So he walked up to him and was like, "Well, what are you doing?" He said, "Oh no, it was Tampa."
Yeah,
he attacked one. He was like, "You're outside in the car park, man. Seriously, so this is the ring. You got him next week."
Yeah,
it's the bit after that though. It's the bit when he looks down at him and goes, "Oh, you're all right, loser." Walks off.
It's good. Like O'Reilly's always been so entertaining. So I'm glad that he's finally getting like a little shot. I mean, I can't. He may do, I may be wrong. I don't know if you can't see him winning against Finn, but then again, they could just have Finn as that transition champion.
I can't see if they make Finn have the title and not even make it past one person. I'm done with wrestling forever.
It'd be like Sasha Banks, where Sasha Banks has never been able to defend a title ever. It could be like that.
Well, yeah, because the problem was she couldn't win the title at the pay-per-view, because unfortunately at the time when she was getting most of her title wins was where Charlotte wasn't allowed to lose at a pay-per-view.
So we have AEW Dynamite, which there was some good bits to the show. There was some not so good bits to the show. I mean, I know they had to piece a lot of it together because of COVID tests. People testing positive. Lance Archer Brian Cage. We don't actually know Brian Cage tested positive, but he was off the show.
I don't fully understand is I thought the AEW title match, I thought was next week in October because I thought that's when the anniversary
Yes, it was.
was.
Yeah, it was, but obviously Lance Archer's not going to be on next week's show either, so they had
So
to.
why have I got a title shot this week?
Well, because they couldn't do it next week either, so they were like, "Oh, we may as well just figure it out because we can't." They're like, otherwise, they haven't got any.
Does that mean I get a title shot next week still, though, against somebody else?
Probably, but like they're just saying like they couldn't have built the John Moxley Lance Archer thing really this week because he wasn't there. So we'll just throw some titles and then we'll go back to that afterwards.
So then don't fucking build it.
Exactly, that's why they're not.
Put in a thing of, well, unfortunately, due to which they stated he can't be here.
Exactly, so they're not.
Next week, the other person who never lost the fucking Royal will be in his place next week instead.
Yeah, that's what they did this week instead.
No, but I wonder about they could have just done a quick build up this week to lead into next week's title show.
It don't matter. It doesn't. It really doesn't matter. They're doing the match and they built it through the show. And I thought Eddie Kingston built the match extremely well in the second segment of the show. I thought it was fun.
I quite enjoyed all the build up stuff. But what I didn't really need was the fucking let's kick the living shit out of him with like 10 of us.
I thought the show. Yeah, I thought, bearing in mind that they did this on like 2 hours with about 2 hours notice. I think this is better than what WWE tends to do when they just get 2 hours notice to change everything, which is like, most Raws. I think they did fine here. I think Miro's debut was shit. I think it was just the drizzling shits in that it was a good match, but I just don't care about him now.
But holy God, is he looking more hench?
Oh, he's looking built. He's looking ridiculous.
That time off managed to get his fucking abs sorted, didn't he?
Yeah, ridiculous. But I said this to you the other day, and it's like I saw people saying it on Twitter when this was live, was why is he selling so much for these guys? Like, he's supposed to be a beast. He should be coming in and just tearing through people like Joey Janela. And no disrespect to Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss, but I just don't know. It was weird to me that he just came in and they had like a 15-minute match, a competitive 15-minute match. And this is one of my biggest gripes constantly of AEW is everything's got to be competitive. No one can just win.
Everything's got to be competitive. Everything's got to be a tag team match.
Yeah, and everything's got to be a tag team match. But straight off that, we had Eddie Kingston come out, cut a great promo. He's incredible on the mic. And challenging John Moxley.
That's why I liked him on NWA.
Yeah, incredible on the mic. And then we moved on to Hangman Page being his depressed cowboy. And then the Young Bucks and Tony Schiavone. And I don't really know about what the hell's happening.
Well, yeah, as we stated before, we spoke about the Young Bucks. I don't understand where it's come from because they were the ones when Kenny did his thing and they left with Kenny that weren't being a dickhead. They were trying to understand. To then just showing up now being, well, kick this person, kick that person, tell you to fuck off because you're the owner, and now I'll smash an announcer's phone up on a wall.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Like them saying about everything they've lost and all this, and you're like, what? It's your fault. Like, you're the one that did that. I don't really get it. It just makes no sense. And I think I said this to you a couple months back. I think I said it on the show a couple months back, was heel Young Bucks have just never really jived with me just because I can never take them seriously as heels. I don't know what it is. I just never take them seriously as heels. So, like, I don't know. It just didn't really work all too well.
No,
especially when there's no story behind it.
I'd be happy with it as long as I understand what the fuck's going on. There's no real thing to it. It's like the same thing we had with Retribution. It's like, this is great. But now that it's been like 4 weeks, by now we should have heard something saying why this is happening.
Yeah. And like, I think this week was supposed to have been him explaining it. And I think he just did a very poor job of it. I think, and also that's an issue with, not being scripted and not having bullet points of what to say and just going at it. I don't think he really got his point across. We had Mr. Brodie Lee for the TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy. Obviously, at the end of the match, is the main thing was Cody made his return with jet black hair. I don't know what they're going to do with Cody now.
You're still stuck on that jet black hair thing, aren't you? You can't get over it.
Looks ridiculous. Looks so ridiculous. To go from like bleach blonde to jet black is so funny. I don't know. He's a funny looking dude. But at least I tell you what, someone made a point of the jet black hair makes the ridiculous tattoo look less ridiculous. It doesn't stand out as much.
It is true.
Like,
We'd have thought in his time away that he could have had that tattoo lasered off.
yeah, I would have. I'd have gotten like I'd just be wearing makeup over that bit of my neck now constantly. Like, oh, honestly, guys, it was fake.
Or just get another tattoo to cut decent one to come round, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, God. But yeah, Cody's back. That should be good. I assume that I don't know when the next pay-per-view is now. It's Full Gear, but I don't know when it is. So probably about another month or so. So there's gonna be a long old build for Cody and Brodie Lee, unless they just throw it onto TV.
There's no need much more. Be okay. Come back and fuck every single member up of fucking Dark Order.
Yeah,
but couldn't do it when he's defending his title, could he?
No, that was too easy. That was way too easy. So yeah, the main event was obviously Moxie and Eddie Kingston, and they essentially went out there and did a New Japan style match because the G1 started this week and they can't be over New Japan, so they decided to do it on AEW TV by just hitting each other in the head repeatedly, and strikes and strikes and strikes in the head.
You think this is what New Japan's paying them for? They're going to do matches over there now for
yeah, just brand it and put it over there. We can't get them over here, so it was a good match.
It's eventually inconsequential. I'll go over just to defend his championship and probably lose it.
I am very surprised at this point that they haven't stripped him. I know it's not his fault, but like now you've got Ospreay and the other like Europeans are heading back over there. Obviously the Americans still can't, but the Europeans are heading over there now. So it's weird to me that they haven't stripped him.
What, the Europeans aren't allowed to wrestle in the UK? Yeah.
Yeah, the Europeans who can't wrestle here can go and wrestle in Japan.
Because they were blacklisted, or
yeah. Bit of both there, bit of both. SmackDown. I actually really enjoyed SmackDown.
SmackDown was very good. I love the whole thing with Jey and Roman.
Yeah, I think Jey and Roman were the highlight of the wrestling week, essentially. Again, I think the Alexa Bliss stuff was quite interesting.
Yeah,
however they're going with that.
It's quite good that they're finally this week put a little bit more into it and actually shown. I don't know if the Fiend wasn't actually there. At least the Fiend. There's been clips. Apparently, if she sees the Fiend, if you mention the Fiend, she just goes into a trance.
Yeah.
If she sees the Fiend's face, she fucks people up.
She becomes absolutely mental. Yeah.
But I love the way where she was staring at Roman now when she did this.
I did like that as well, like giving him evil eyes as he was walking by. I thought that was really smart. I genuinely liked the whole thing. I think it was weird to start off the night with Sammy, Jeff, and AJ, considering
it's weird to have either three of them actually getting ready to have a match against each other 2 days before.
That's what I mean, right? It's weird to do that match now when like we're literally doing it at the pay-per-view. But okay, cool. It was a good match, but yeah,
they've always got to do the go home show with the Intercontinental Champion involved, but this time they couldn't put a title on.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. We had God damn it, they're going back to King Corbin and Matt Riddle, so I could deal with that on the show.
Oh yeah, well we know there's going to be a thing. At least this one it just worked because of there was still a bit of a thing, but I like the way there was a gap because Corbin was going after Jey.
Yeah.
But you now know there's going to be a third match for a rubber match.
Yeah. God, I thought they were done with that by now, but apparently not. But no, the end of the show, they showed an awesome video package with Rikishi and things in it.
Oh
which
yeah,
I loved. I thought that was
really
awesome.
Cool. That was all really good, actually.
Yeah.
They finally brought the family in.
Yeah.
So there was no Dwayne Johnson involved though.
No, but do you know what? We're going to get a bit distracted here, but do you know that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is going to be making his Impact Wrestling debut next week. he is going to be part of Ken Shamrock's induction into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. So he is going to be on Impact Television, which is
So he's gonna get blacklisted from WWE now.
like, how insane is that? That in 2020 The Rock's going to be on Impact TV. Obviously, it's just a little introduction to his Hall of Fame, but like I think that's so funny.
So Dwayne Johnson's being blackballed now. Yeah,
He's the one
WWE.
man. He's one of a few men. He could do whatever he wants, and Vince would still be like, "No, please come back, please come back, please come back."
I need you for the Roman match.
Yeah, please, please. Yeah. But no, yes, yeah. So I find that funny that he was involved in. He's going to be involved in Ken Shamrock's thing on Impact, but he wasn't involved in this thing for WWE. But anyway, like they couldn't have just got him on a video on his phone talking about it. Like, how easy would that have been? Anyway. No, I really enjoyed this. I thought this whole thing was really good.
Well, it's not like The Rock that isn't regularly normally surrounded by cameras, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Like he's always filming like every moment of his life.
So
I think another bonus of this is Paul Heyman's actually doing good work again. He's not
I also think I like with Paul Heyman on this is because where they allow Roman to speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where I always wanted to hear Brock speak more because he's actually really quite good on the mic.
Yeah. So it's like they're letting Heyman's being a lot more fresh with this, and obviously we know Heyman's writing all of this and he's doing it all. So this is obviously what he actually wanted to do, and he's not just a catchphrase machine, just constantly saying the same thing about Brock. So I like that. But
yeah,
I think the star, and I tweeted this out, I think the star of the entire thing was Jey.
Yeah.
I think Jey's promo was incredible, like genuinely incredible.
Yeah, it's the bit where he does that slow rap after what Roman says and then leaves, and the way he acts, and then it's timing with it, which is great.
Perfect. There was a line there. I can't remember the exact line, but there was.
I know that it'd be Jey that gets a super kick on his brother and leaves Roman laying there.
Yeah. Although this was
that could have been quite a great way to end this one. Him walking up, still getting face.
True. There was a great line from Jey where he said something. I can't remember. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but where he said something along the lines of, "I've spent years being asked, which one are you?"
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant, and it's like genuinely so good.
Well, wear a fucking name badge, and it won't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Stick to wearing a name badge, or
put your hat back on with your fucking name on it.
Yeah, go back to painting your face, and then we'd know which one's which.
No, because then I'll get confused with. Who's one got side painted?
Yeah. But no, I genuinely think this is great, and I think WWE have built this so well. And as we were talking about the other day, I hope they don't do what they've done with just about every main event in the last sort of 8 to 10 months, which is one and done.
Oh, it probably will be.
It probably will be. I hope that just because they've built it so well. If they tell that perfect underdog story and Jey sort of can fight his way up and nearly win it, and then they can continue on until Survivor Series, that'd be great. But
continue on with Jey suddenly winning the title and then Roman Reigns bringing him back.
That'd be so bizarre, wouldn't it? If Roman actually lost on his first defense.
And there's Jimmy going, "Was there any point in me coming back if everyone can win a fucking singles title before?"
Yeah. But yeah, I think from what started as one of the worst segments and worst Raws in history of WWE, I think the week ended on a very great high with Roman and Jey. It's weird. Raw and SmackDown feel like polar opposite shows at this point. Like they just feel completely different.
So unfortunately, the one person who keeps showing up and doing a shit job of throwing his power around is Mr. Adam Pearce.
Yeah, it's so funny that he's the one which sort of he's everywhere.
You know what I realised actually yesterday when I was watching? Adam Pearce gets more fucking time on air through the week than NXT's general manager does. And half the time, the NXT made us he might just do a quick video from being at home.
Yeah, and they've never even given Adam Pearce a title. He's just an executive. That's all they ever call him. He's just an executive. Oh, he's a WWE executive.
And if you ain't got a camera or something in your hand backstage or you're in an interview, that's all you ever get called backstage.
Yeah. But no, I think it was good. I think this is probably the match I'm most looking forward to at Clash of Champions. Is Roman versus Jey.
Yeah. I don't care too much about Lashley and Apollo.
No. I'm looking forward to the ladder match just because I reckon it'll be a great match.
I'm also looking forward to Bailey and Nikki Cross.
Yeah, there is some pretty decent stuff on the card, but I mean, Drew versus Randy, I'll look forward to it because I'm sure they'll do a good match. Ambulance match, we've not seen it in a while, but also in the same respect, it's like I think we can move on from that story after this, hopefully.
Well, Orton needs to win the title, really, don't he?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think he's going to, but I kind of think so.
Unless Edge or a Christian or someone like that sort of comes back and is the one that ends the reason why he ends up in the ambulance. Unless he's not winning that title, what's the fucking point of this bit right now?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. But the whole pay-per-view should be okay. I mean, I'm assuming Roman versus Jey has got to close the show, unless, as you say, Edge or someone like that comes back to cost him. Then that's got
There's
to
a
close
chance
the
if
show.
that ends up, if WWE Championship is on the line, then someone better come back and cost Orton. If not, what's the point?
Yeah, no, I agree. So what else came out this week? So this week we had, unfortunately, we had the passing of Road Warrior Animal. He passed away, age of 60, not even that old. Obviously, one half of what everyone pretty much considers the best tag team of all time.
It's also quite weird because he was always the one who tried to stay away from drugs and all that. So it's
That's exactly, yeah. That's what everyone's sort of been saying. He he ran heavy like everyone else did back in the early days, but for the most part, yeah, he stayed pretty clean and sober, mainly because he saw what happened to Hawk, so he stayed away from it. That's a real shame. Someone said the other day, like when he came back for his run, the whatever run with Heidenreich, he was only like in his early 40s. But when he done that, he was portrayed as like the older guy, that old guy coming back. And you think, Jesus, he's like AJ Styles' age now. Like AJ Styles is wrestling at the same age as Animal was when he came back for his.
Yeah, but the problem is Animal actually looked like he was potentially mid-50s.
Yeah, but it's like so many people pointed out, like, you remember the gimmick battle royal at WrestleMania 18 and all these guys, Earthquake and all them, they were all in their 30s and early 40s, and they're all being portrayed as like really old guys who were wrestling 20, 30 years ago. But because wrestling's changed so much now that you're not considered over the hill at the age of like 30 anymore, whilst 20 years ago you were off to the old people's home at the age of 30.
Well, no, because no offense, most of the guys in their mid-30s now are becoming champion.
Exactly, like the guys in their 30s are just sort of getting going now, whilst back then it was like, yeah, like when Hogan went to WCW and all of those guys, like Vince McMahon and WWF ran all of the old fogey promos about the guys going to WCW. But yeah, hearing that he was only 60 I was kind of like, wow, I just don't know. I just sort of thought he'd old, just because the Road Warriors and the Legion of Doom were around for so freaking long that it's really sad. It's sad because it's like, as you say, he was, by all accounts, someone who stayed away from all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no cause of death yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what the hell happened there. Also this week, the British Parliament, the UK Parliament launched an inquiry into professional wrestling in Britain. They established an all parties parliamentary group. So all parties, both sides of the aisle, come together to talk shit about wrestling, basically. I think the woman that's been doing it, the MP that's been doing it, Alec Davis-Jones, is doing a great job, and she's clearly very passionate about it.
Some of the videos I've seen about it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, she's clearly very passionate about it, and she was informed of the speaking out movement, obviously, which happened a few months back, and because of that, she was like, well, maybe for once someone should look into wrestling, because nobody looks into this. It sort of lives in the shadows. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this. They're taking evidence, and you can send evidence. The link will be in the description. You can send it, and you can have a look over it on their Twitter at APPG Wrestling to see what they're up to, because they're going to be interviewing an awful lot of people and taking evidence from an awful lot of people throughout the world as to wrestling in Britain and how it can change for the better, with hope. How women won't be subject to pretty awful shit in locker rooms and businesses, in the business, and hopefully there'll be less sexism, racism, misogyny, all that sort of stuff in professional wrestling in Britain, which we
Does
know
that mean
exists.
JBL's completely done now? Yeah.
Yeah, no more bullying of professional wrestling. Yeah, you can't come over here. And also, they'll probably be looking at the independent contractor status. That's
Well,
on the list.
that means NXT UK's done.
Yeah, that's a funny one because, well, I can tell you now. You know what they'll be doing is they'll be hiring them from an American thing and saying nope, they're hired in America. The company's registered in America. They'll drop all notion that NXT UK is a UK thing, even though it runs here solely. You know, because they ain't going to take that one laying down. No, sir.
Neither do I think that certain women leading the team will take the
No,
bullshit that WWE has to throw.
no, and I think that's a good point, and I think it's about time someone actually stands up to their bullshit.
Well, that's
And it's
7-something-year-old man.
yeah, and it's going to take someone like MPs to do it, you know, which is a weird thing to say that you know it's going to take someone like an MP to do it, but you know they're the only people which actually have some kind of power over people like Vince. But yeah, also I thought what's come out in the last week, Sasha Banks is appearing in The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, which is kind of cool. We knew she had a role, like I'd heard it months ago, but I just assumed it was sort of like a cameo spot walking through. But she was in the trailer, so I'm interested to see what she's doing in that. That'd be fun.
well, from what I keep hearing, some people say she's a Sith, some people say she's actually a runaway Jedi.
Yeah, but by all accounts, she's actually got a role, which is kind of cool. But anyway, head on over and follow us on Twitter at SEW_podcast. We'll be live tweeting Clash of Champions tonight. Follow us here on YouTube, like and subscribe to this video, and we will see you next time for another video. We are out.